You ready?
And begin.
And begin. John Peckman Podcast. Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Beautiful downtown Portland. Come across the bridge, go through one satellite, start looking left. We have shirts, hats, mugs, bibs, aprons, boat anchors. What else we got?
78 Fender P basses.
78 Fender P bass. Here today with one of my very favorite bass players in the whole wide world, Mr. Jay Wiggin. All we do is talk about Jay.
Thank you.
And he's finally here.
I've been trying.
Yeah, I know.
I made it.
Not your fault.
Yeah, it is.
Well, partially, yeah. But you're finally here. You finally got Jay here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, ma'am.
I'm
Absolutely.
a fan of the show.
Oh, hey. A fan of the
Yes.
show. That's kind of funny.
I know.
We have fans now.
You texted me, hey, you want to be on the show? I'm like, oh, it's a show?
Well,
I thought it was a podcast.
Well, I don't.
What's the difference?
I don't know. I call it the show.
Yeah,
Everything's a show.
showbiz.
You know, all the world's a stage, etc. So tell us about yourself, Jay Wiggin.
Well, before you rolled the cameras, Dave already asked all the questions.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm done. Thank you. Where's my mug?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, where's the mug? White
Actually,
Album's my favorite album. I like
yeah.
tacos. Where's the mug?
Actually, the mug is probably rarer than that 78 P bass downstairs.
You think so? No, they're
you
not.
should keep the mug.
We got
and I'll
100
just
of them
take
we're
the
trying to get
P-bass.
rid of.
I'll just take the bass instead of the mug. It's valuable.
Good luck with that. Maybe, hopefully, maybe someday it'll be valuable.
All right.
You know?
Everybody come down here and check out that P bass.
Yeah, check out that P bass. We're talking about. Make sure that front door's locked
Yeah.
before we leave here.
Right.
Check
the inventory after I leave here.
Yeah, that's right. That's see you later. Bye. Nice meeting you.
Down my pant leg.
Yeah, exactly. I'll see you later. Oh yeah, no, I was
Why are you
in the
limping?
war. I got an
War
injury.
injury.
That's funny. So Jay plays bass, among other things. But
Yes.
that's how I met you.
Pizza.
Wearing a wig.
I could eat pizza every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
White Album. Wait, you already said
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
You already blew my opening
Yeah.
jokes.
Been around the world. No
Oh,
regret-
wait. My script is here.
Yeah,
I wrote a
exactly.
script.
Yeah, exactly. Ha!
Oh, that's the last page.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Been around the world. Music. No regrets, bro. Whatever. Yeah. Jay
Don't.
Wiggins here.
Don't.
No, I know. All right. So, if people don't know you,
Easy.
yeah. Why do we care about Jay Wiggin?
I don't. You tell me.
Well,
I mean, I don't know. What?
All right. So, bass player,
Yes.
teacher.
Yes.
Where?
The Woodstock Academy.
In Connecticut.
Woodstock, Connecticut, northeast corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's my alma mater, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And everybody, well,
I didn't know that.
A lot of the teachers and administrators were like family, friends, classmates.
Oh, cool.
It's very comfortable that way, and it's awesome. I've been
You've
there.
been there how long?
This is 12.
Wow.
This is year 12. I went
Wow.
back and I went back. So
That's crazy.
I got a call from my friend who was the choral director, the music department chair.
Mm-hmm.
We were UConn friends back in the day, and she's like, "Jay, there's a music opening." I was like, "What?" I'm painting a wall. I'm literally
Yeah,
Johnny
I remember
Corvo
that. Yep.
painting a
I
wall
remember
on the
that.
job
Yep.
site. I'm like, oh, so she got me in, and the rest is history. It's awesome. It's been great.
So you have the education for that. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did. I mean, that's the middle of my story. Should I start at the beginning
Yeah,
of my
yeah, yeah.
story?
Go ahead.
We
Sure.
can get there.
Yeah.
Where do I start? Childhood? What do you want?
I don't know. Well, so where'd you grow up? Up
Eastford.
there. Up there.
Well, all right. I was when I
Did
was.
you grow up? Where are you going to grow? When?
This is deep.
I know.
What is Paula going to come in and ask the real questions next?
Probably.
I know. She should have a different kind of podcast.
Yeah, she probably should.
She can therapize all of your musician friends.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to use that word.
Yeah. You just made up.
Yeah, and I saw it on a Netflix series. They used it a lot.
Really? Therapize?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they made it up. So I was born in. I lived in Manchester when I was first a child.
Okay.
Up until kindergarten, and then after kindergarten, we moved out there. So.
Yep.
My early childhood was Manchester, and my dad was a musician, trombone player.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in the early 70s, he had a band called Thunder Mug.
Okay.
I think
With an F?
Thunder Mug.
Thunder.
Thunder Mug.
Yeah, I thought it was Thunder Mug.
Thunder Mug, which is
Thunder Mug.
a name for a chamber pot.
Oh, okay,
Which,
gotcha. Sure, that makes sense.
Hey.
Which is a word for
And there's actually,
a bed toilet.
There's actually a Canadian rock band called Thunder Mug,
yeah.
which I found out later
Yeah.
when YouTube became a thing.
Wow.
So they would rehearse in our basement.
Yeah, right.
And
you
so I was a
heard it
kid, and like my earliest memories are sitting on the stairs watching them rehearse.
all. Oh, yeah.
And they handed me a cowbell, and
Yep.
I'm up there
Yep.
just jamming with them.
That's cool.
And it was awesome.
Thunder Mug.
And so
Your mom's not musical.
no, she's very supportive, and
Mm-hmm.
she married a musician. She birthed
Right.
a musician.
Right.
She put me through school. Yeah.
Yeah.
So got me lessons, all that thing. So that's my earliest musical memories of, when I was in Manchester. Then we moved out to Eastford, first grade, and I started taking piano lessons out there.
Right.
We had an old upright grand piano that we took from my grandfather's place in New Hampshire.
Oh, cool.
Off of an island in the middle of a lake.
Oh, wow.
Put it on this little boat, brought it over.
That's
Got
cool.
it to my house.
Yeah.
Open it up. There's pine cones and leaves in the bottom and squirrels and stuff.
Wow.
Real ivory keys.
Wow.
You cut yourself because they were all jaggedy.
Oh, really?
It's still at my mom's. It's a beautiful plant stand at the moment.
Yeah.
And photograph stand.
That's cool.
But Zoe was rocking on it. She plays it whenever she goes there, and it's horribly beautiful.
Yeah.
But we also had a Fender Rhodes.
Oh, wow.
And so that was like that was more in tune, and it was cool. You plug it into an amp. So my dad in Thunder Mug, they needed a keyboard player.
Yep.
And they got this guy who was like 18, 19.
Sure.
Didn't have a keyboard. So my dad bought the Fender Rhodes.
Oh, wow.
Because back then that was, they were all over the place.
Yeah.
And an amp, and then
That guy quit within a week.
yeah, that guy quit, and that guy was Grayson Hugh, who
Oh, wow. Oh,
as
wow.
you know, Connecticut's own.
Here we go. Another
recording artist.
Another seed. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that was a trip when I learned that later in life, and met him and talked about stuff.
Yeah.
And he remembers like our
Like
old
my
Ford.
dad bought the Rhodes for
Yeah,
you.
the Rhodes that I learned on was for you,
Wow.
and you went off and became a star.
Wow. All right. Yep.
So
He just made the list
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and he remembers like I remember we had this old Ford station wagon with the wooden panels on the side, and the gas pedal was the shape of a bare foot. It was so cool. And Grayson has memories of riding in the back of that on top of equipment to gigs.
Oh,
like
wow.
Laying on top of the
Wow. I never
amps
knew
and
that.
stuff. Yeah.
So your dad played with Grayson.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. The world's getting smaller.
I know. So
By every episode, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's heavy. Yeah. Grayson, Rob the drummer.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all
Yeah.
every
Tom
all-
Majeski.
all connected.
Dave Stoltz.
Yep.
Those guys.
All of it. Yeah, far out. So then when did you
I took a couple years of lessons on that.
Yep.
First grade, second grade.
Yep.
And then I guess it was my decision to stop. I wasn't into practicing the stuff. I was good at it. It was fine, but
Sure.
it's hard when you're 7 or 8 and you just don't want to do something anymore.
Definitely.
Same thing happened with my kid.
Yep.
They took lessons at that age, and then they didn't.
Yeah, it happens. Might come back.
Yeah, well, Zoe's in
never
high
know.
school. They have a piano class. So
Yeah.
every day for a semester, she's rocking on the piano, learning it, picking it up again, and
That's cool.
Her fingers are flying on the piano,
Wow.
which is really cool.
Nice.
And then, I had a recorder.
Sure.
My dad bought my brother a drum pad and the Buddy Rich rudiment book,
Sure.
which I still have.
Yeah, which is still a
And,
thing. That book still is a thing.
In I think I might have been 5th or 6th grade. We did a talent show. My buddy Todd played piano, and my buddy Matt played tambourine,
Oh, okay.
and I played piano. So we had 2 pianos and a tambourine. We did Tom Petty, Change of Heart,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
with the Rhodes.
Yeah. It's funny.
So that was like my first band gig in elementary school, middle school. That the amp was SG, Standell Gibson amp, had like the silver trim, 212s maybe.
Yeah.
and the big like kitchen oven range knobs.
Yeah.
And those 3 phaser switches.
Yeah, I don't know.
That built in. It was like the coolest thing, but I started playing my bass through it later when I got a bass, and it sounded horrible. My dad was like, "Ah, speaker's blown." We threw it in the dump.
Oh boy.
It's probably just the tubes. But my dad's a trombone player. What did he know about tube amps?
Yeah.
I wish I had that thing today. I don't even see him. You never see him.
Good Lord.
If I showed you a picture, you'd be like, "What?"
Imagine that. Yeah, I don't know anything about amps.
Same thing with the Rhodes.
Yeah, where's that?
So it's mid 80s at this point. The tines are breaking. It's the pain in the butt to tune.
Sure.
It's not cool anymore. There's no vintage
Right.
appeal.
The DX7 is now the thing.
Yeah. So we brought that to the dump.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Yikes.
There's a few $1,000s right there
I know.
today that I could enjoy having.
Yeah. Well,
We didn't know.
yeah.
I have a nice picture of my dad. The lid's open and he's like trying to tune it. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching.
And we've all done things like that. Just like, oh man, I wish I had that thing. It happens.
Then
when bass.
I don't know. I can't remember if it was Christmas of my 7th grade or my 8th grade year. I don't know why I can't remember that. I have a mental block about that. But
You were probably drinking a lot by then.
Mm-hmm. Apple juice.
Yeah. Sure.
I think here's why I doubt myself. I say it's 8th grade Christmas.
Yeah.
But I also was playing Smoke on the Water and, a couple of songs with my music teacher for the school.
Yeah.
With my friend who played guitar and his adult drummer friend. We Stairway to Heaven and
Sure.
maybe Freebird or something. It was like, yeah, Freebird, Stairway to Heaven, Smoke on the Water. And I'm like, would I have been able to do that with just a few months of a new bass? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. I doubt myself, but so whatever. That was it. And
You should have played recorder on Stairway to Heaven.
maybe I did.
Yeah, maybe you did. Yep, exactly.
So I took a few after-school lessons with that music teacher. And
For bass.
yeah, he was a guitar. He had a beautiful Les Paul. I think it had the 3 pickups, gold hardware.
Sure.
And he was clearly a rocker.
Yeah.
Doing this, elementary, middle school music gig.
Yeah.
And so he gave me a few after-school lessons. I already knew how to read piano music.
Yep.
So it was just kind of transitioning, showing me, oh, that's this on the bass.
Sure.
And so that was real help. And then I took lessons at a store in Mansfield, or stores.
Yep.
It's called the Guitar Workshop. And that was like more theory, circle of fifths kind of stuff. And
I'm a drummer. I have no idea.
Arpeggios and all that.
What?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I don't know.
And then that was pretty much it. Like just maybe a year of that.
Mm.
So now I'm in high school, and I didn't do any music my freshman year because I was shy. I'm like, I don't want to,
Yeah, I can't picture that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Really?
No, I don't know.
I know. I think I still am shy.
In a way, yeah.
And I make up for it with
nonsense.
being
Yeah, that's okay.
fool.
We're not here to you don't have to therapize yourself. That's not what we're here for. Exactly.
Thump.
Exactly.
Yeah. So freshman year, just I took wood shop.
Yeah.
And then sophomore year, I started joining everything: chorus, band.
Cool.
At that point, the school was small. Everyone did chorus. Everyone did band.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
Everyone played sports.
Yeah.
I think there were like 450 in the school.
Wow.
And half of them were in the music stuff, which
Sure.
is awesome.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So there's a good there must have been somebody up there who was on it.
Yeah, Mr. Beckwith.
There you go.
He was, young, energetic,
Yep.
encouraging, trying to rope them all in the small town.
Yeah. Get them involved. How did we saw Jeff Brown discovered that your grandfather was. So what's that all about? That's interesting.
That was an awesome
That's
interview.
crazy.
That was a great story.
Oh yeah. Jeff.
He started telling that story, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If
Where's
you
he
say
headed
Cedric,
with
I'm
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
And I don't remember talking to him about it before, but he said we did, so I believe him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not a liar.
Yeah, no,
Like you.
But it was great to hear him tell those stories, because those are the exact same story I heard from my grandfather about, when I was, we used to march down the street and we didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He would kick kids out of the band if their hair was too long.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
great. Like
Yeah.
60s, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know when he started.
Beat
there,
it,
but
hippie.
he was definitely in there.
Go
there
play
in
with the Grateful Dead.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he retired in like 74.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
he always told me the story about the hair thing, and
Mm-hmm.
it was right around the time where, you know, it was probably late 60s. The Beatles were already here with their mop tops.
Sure.
So the kids were coming in. He was like, "No, you need to cut your hair," and the kids refused to cut their
Just
hair.
to be in the band.
Yeah, so he kicked them out.
Wow.
Parents got all mad, came in, got the administration, blah, 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 big thing.
Whoa.
He had to bring the kid back in.
Whoa.
Then the next school year, they had auditions for the band again, for the
Yeah.
seats behind a curtain. But he knew that kid's playing, and he knew that he didn't cut his hair yet, and nope.
Whoa.
So the next year, didn't let him in the band.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then like a week later, the kid comes in with a haircut. And, "Can I be in the band?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
Yikes. So he won.
Imagine doing that kind of thing today.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, wore him down.
So, big shoes to fill. I'll never live up to that guy.
Wow.
He was larger than life.
That's heavy.
I student taught at Hall High School
Mm-hmm.
in West Hartford.
Yep.
20 years later, 20 years after he retired, and I'm in the, you know, like the superintendent's office, and there's his picture on the wall. I'm like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah. It was, like,
Hey, that's
crazy.
kind of cool.
And then, you know, Steph Wattell got
Yep.
the gig at Sedgwick, and she calls me. She's like, "Hey, there's an album in the file drawer with your grandfather's name on it."
You're like, yeah, that's
yeah.
He
Still there.
He built this city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's heavy.
legacy.
yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my high school was like sophomore through senior year. I just did everything music. I became the music guy.
Sure.
You know.
Were you most musical in your yearbook? I was.
Yeah, if there was a thing,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
probably were.
a couple of us went to music school after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the, you know, I sang a lot of the solos. I played bass in the jazz band. I played trombone in the concert band.
Oh, that's cool.
Started on trumpet.
Did you?
But-
All right. So your dad was still alive.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you played
Oh, yeah.
trombone.
Yeah. Well, you
following in
know,
your dad's footsteps.
when you're in high school, you maybe don't want to be like your dad.
Sure.
So I'm like, I want to do the band because my friends were in the band and they weren't that good either. I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I got a trumpet from my uncle. I'm like, I'll
Okay.
do trumpet.
Yeah. Why
And
not?
I get there and I'm like, you know, I can
Yeah.
play like a scale. And I'm looking, there's like 8 people that way better than me and 8 people that way
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
trumpet
yeah.
better than me. And then there's like 2 buffoons over in the trombone section. I'm like,
like, I'll be one of those.
yeah, I'm going over there.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of cool.
that was fun. And I also played, you know, occasionally I'd play drums with like the pep band and the bleachers for the basketball games,
Cool.
or accompanying like the choral concert.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
want
yeah.
a little rhythm section. Me and my buddy would jump down and play drums. And
Yeah, that's
bass.
cool. So you're into everything. You're into it
Yeah,
all.
so I kind of had, and at the time when I was in middle school, when I got the bass for Christmas, my best friend down the street, Matt Thompson, got his drum set for Christmas.
You're like, here we go.
And my other best friend up the road a couple miles was already a piano player.
Yeah. So you're like, here we go.
And he would play my roads at my buddy's house who had the drums. We'd go on his
Right.
porch and jam.
So then you're
and-
like, now I'm the bass player. It's
Yeah, so
clear.
I was the bass player. Even before I had a bass, we had the vision.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I'm going to be the drummer.
Yeah.
So the tambourine guy got a drum set, and I got a bass, and Todd had the piano.
That's pretty cool.
But like we mess around on all the instruments. So I kind of feel like I started on bass and drums sort of at the same time. I didn't
Cool.
own a drum set,
Yeah.
but I could play it.
Yeah.
I
That's
learned,
cool.
you know.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
kind of the same way. We're the opposite. I
Yeah,
started
yeah.
on bass and quit
Right.
and took up drums,
Right.
and I still fool around on the bass. You're probably a better drummer than I am a bass player.
I don't know. You've been practicing a lot,
Yeah.
so
Whatever.
you're good.
But yeah, I feel like I'm that way too. Like a bass player, kind of, but mostly a drummer.
Yeah, I think it helps.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely helps.
I think so.
You have to know what the other guy's doing that you're supposed to be locked in with.
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
so. Pretty cool. And then
yeah, what was I going to say about
I
that?
don't know. So you're playing with your homeboys.
Yeah. And so we had a band called Northern Lights,
Okay.
and we had a couple of originals, and we played like a high school talent show.
Sure.
It was a not a competition, but it was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They called it Arts Weekend,
Sure.
and I was I think I might have been a freshman or maybe a sophomore, but
Oh boy.
I got up and we played, and it was like
What'd you play?
I played bass.
What song?
Originals.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
We had like,
all right.
I think we had
You
3
said that.
originals. 2 of them had
Wow.
lyrics and vocals, and one was an instrumental.
Yeah.
And it was just piano, bass, and drums.
Huh.
And like,
Kind of cool.
yeah, Ben Folds, before Ben Folds.
Before Ben Folds.
Yeah.
Yeah. No guitars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably older than him, so like,
Yeah, could be.
he copied me.
Yeah, he probably did.
But then, like, you know, the crowd, all our friends screaming, and I was
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Oh, this is great.
I'm hooked.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Did you act like a jackass then? Like
No,
you do
I was,
now?
I
Like
was,
you immediately.
I was always like a shy, kind of level-headed kid.
Yeah.
Preppy looking, you know, doing the right thing all
Sure.
the time, you know.
Sure.
And then
When did it all start to go wrong?
never, not yet.
Oh, really?
It hasn't yet.
Okay. All right.
Give it about 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little something.
Yeah. And then I also played drums on a talent show with some other guys in high school.
Oh, wow.
We did covers like "Fight for Your Right"
Sure.
and
So you were
"You
the
Too," "With or Without You." Stuff
sure.
like that.
So you were like the guy. They're like, just get Jay Wiggin, he'll play.
I guess, I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
They heard me banging on the drums after school or before school, or.
That's cool.
And
Well,
my
here's a weird
And that
question.
teacher was great. He let me take the drum set home in the summer,
Hey.
set it up in my barn,
Hey, that's awesome.
and we had a Tascam 4-track, and I was start putting tracks
Yeah.
down. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so. That
So
was
here's a question I never knew that. I've never asked. So who were your drum heroes then? That's interesting, right?
Then?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
You know, like
I don't know.
when you
Neil Peart,
when you kind of
Peart.
considered yourself a drummer, kind of.
when I could play little bits of Rush songs.
Sure. You were like, I'm getting there.
You know,
I'm getting
Subdivisions
somewhere.
was
Sure.
fun to play.
Yeah.
And you know, like,
Definitely.
yeah.
So that was.
But
like
I don't think I really thought about, you know, who I'm gonna
Yeah.
emulate on the drums.
You're just going for it.
Even on bass, like my early influences when I got the bass, and right before, you know, I'm listening to Motley Crue.
Sure.
It's the early '80s. I'm listening to Motley Crue, Rat,
Sure.
Quiet Riot.
Yep.
So like Rudy Sarzo's bass lines were some
Yeah.
of the first ones I ever
So you're
played.
playing like this half the time, trying to figure that
Up
out.
here.
Yeah. So you're like total hair
So
metal.
what is
This
that?
your
What's
thing.
that Motley Crue? Too Fast for Love.
Yep.
You know that bass?
I think so.
It's like an octave disco thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
before I had a bass and understood the frets, I'm like thinking in my head, how does he do that? Oh, he's sliding up and sounds like he's 2 fingers going.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the shape was, but I knew the concept.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
I was thinking about piano keys.
Yeah,
even,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then
Isn't that cool?
yeah, so I got the bass, and those were kind of the thing. And Kiss, Gene
Yep.
Simmons.
Sure.
There was some live. I forget which live VHS
Oh, really?
that
Okay.
I rented from the
Sure.
video store
Yeah. The Woodstock.
and taped it on my boombox
Oh,
on a
hell,
cassette and
yep.
just played it
Got
over.
that right. Yeah.
You know, the Gene Simmons bass.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Exactly. Wow.
And the guy from Accept, I don't even know his name, but
Yeah,
remember,
sure.
remember that band?
Yeah.
His-
Oh, yeah.
You ever hear his
No,
bass
do I?
solo?
Except.
Udo Dirk Schneider was the singer.
No.
Balls to the wall.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a great.
Yeah.
That's a great track.
He was in the bass player was in
Whoa.
the magazines with this giant wall of PV amps,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, oh.
That's the there it is.
Then you listen to his live bass solo, and it's just.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh. That's it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what else happened after that, but I'm like, I can do that.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
So those were like the early things.
PV. You gotta have.
And I had a TKO 65 bass amp. That was my first bass amp.
Really
Yeah.
far out.
So my parents surprised me that Christmas with a bass and an amp. And, you know, I still have the bass. It's a not custom made, but it's like a homemade
Yeah.
wooden, weird looking body
Whoa.
with, I think, is a Hagstrom neck on it, short scale, which I didn't know it was short scale until
Yeah.
I was like
Didn't even know
30.
there was such a thing. Yeah.
No, not 30, but like 20 when I got a 34-inch scale
You're like,
Ibanez. I'm like, oh.
oh, hey, this is big.
Yeah, so my brother wasn't really a musician, but he was a quote-unquote singer in a band with friends for like
Okay.
a hot minute.
All right.
And the bass player, they played at our house once or something, practiced.
Mm-hmm.
Bass player left his case. I'm like, ooh.
Hey.
And I had my bass at that point, so I knew how to play. I'm like, so I opened it up and, you know, it smelled like cat pee.
Sure.
there was a P bass in there, I guess.
Right.
I didn't know Fender. I didn't care.
Sure.
I didn't care at that point.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, and I'm like, it felt so huge. I'm like,
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
That's when I'm like, my bass is not a
Yeah,
real
yeah.
short scale thing.
Yeah,
Really.
this is like a real one.
And I played that bass for like 8 years because we didn't have access to music stores. I didn't have money.
Right.
You know,
so that was it.
And I didn't know, and I could get a sound out of it.
Do you still prefer short scale or no?
I love short scale now, but
Yeah.
there was a while where I didn't.
Yeah.
But I love it. And
So
I
you got into.
Yeah, and I just fixed that bass up. The neck pickup was shot, and you know, without seeing it, it had these like wooden pickup surrounds that were screwed in, so it's like really like custom.
Yeah, yeah.
There were no plastic like, hey, just swap this for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I tried to put a regular jazz bass pickup in there, it wouldn't fit.
Oh boy.
But this was a jazz bass pickup. It just had a little bit different
Yeah, yeah.
like sizing to it or something.
Yeah, when he carved it out
some
in
kind of
wood
vintage
shop.
thing. I don't know. My parents bought it in like '83 or something,
Wow.
and it might have been 4 or 5 years old,
Yeah,
maybe
God
at that
only
point,
knows.
because it had some wear and tear on it.
Yeah.
So we're maybe I'm like, oh, maybe it's a '70s jazz bass pickup or something. The neck, as best I can tell, is from like a 1968
Wow.
Hagstrom
You ever bring it out?
on a gig. No,
Yeah.
well, I just fixed it like a few months
funny.
ago. I
Imagine
went
that.
online, found a guy, and Tom Brantley, and I just went to his website, emailed him like, hey, I got this thing, I don't know what it is, can you fix it?
Yeah, yeah.
He wound it super cheap, like $65.
Wow.
He's like, you won't get it back next week, but like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you'll get it in 2 or 3 months, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, that's great, no
Yeah.
hurry.
yeah.
So I got it, put it in, works, sounds cool.
That's kind of wild.
Found out later, Tom Brantley has the Geddy Lee pickup. He's like,
Oh.
he made a Geddy Lee pickup that Geddy has in one of his jazz basses.
Okay.
And I have that big, beautiful book of bass, the Geddy
Yep.
Lee.
Yep.
And he talks about this guy, Tom Brantley.
Oh wow.
Yeah, who I just bought that pickup from. I was like, whoa, that's cool.
That's kind of wild.
So that bass, it's cool. It's like, you know, really kind of loose, and the neck is so thin, and you can bend a lot, and it's definitely not for
So that was like the
everything.
bass you worked it out.
Yeah,
on.
and I think because I had that bass for so long, I was playing with a pick, and I was playing with my fingers, and I was
Yep.
slapping.
Yep.
And because I had to kind of have finesse on that instrument, I think that might have helped my technique.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I really had to be careful of how I was attacking the string.
Huh.
So it gave me a kind of a
I got you.
control, I guess, maybe.
Interesting. All right. So then take us into when do you begin? So what happens after that? So you're like Mr. Big Shot in kind of high
Yeah,
school.
so sometime in my senior year, a friend of mine was like, hey, there's these guys from Plainfield High School. They're looking for a bass player. I was like, all right.
Sure.
So kind of like strangers in a strange town. And they were total rockers, like total 80s. They had the hair,
boy,
they had
yeah.
the spandex, they had the
Whoa. Yeah.
guitar player was awesome, shredder. Like, you know, he could play all that stuff.
So you're stepping up.
Yeah, we played like Journey songs and Rush songs and White Lion and
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, some Dokken.
Wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some Zeppelin, and
Sure.
you know, that was my first like real cover band, rock band cover thing.
Mm-hmm. You guys play gigs?
We did. There was a place in Plainfield called the Pit Stop. So that was a
Okay.
bar.
Sure.
You know, we did a couple. I think we were openers, and maybe we did one of our own there, multi-band night kind of thing. And
You're starting to get a feel
it's-
for it.
Yeah, and then there was another place called Raspberries, which was also up there in
Yeah.
you know, Pomfret or Rogers or something. And,
Sure.
and it was a juice bar,
Yeah. Sure.
but all my high school friends could go. So we had
Perfect.
we had a gig there, and it was
Yeah.
like, I still have posters we made from that. It's pretty
That's
funny.
great. Did you have metal hair, or were you like the straight
No,
guy?
I looked like this,
Oh boy.
but probably with like a turtleneck,
Yeah.
you know, LL
all
Bean
right.
shoes on, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was awkward, but like it's just I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm not gonna put spandex on, and
Yeah. Right. I guess beggars. Yeah, that comes later.
I didn't know how to.
Because beggars can't be choosers up there. They're like, well, he's a great bass player.
Clearly, I
in
don't
the
know
band.
how to have cool hair, like hairspray.
Right. For those of you who
I don't know.
are just listening, yes, Jay has not cool hair. I
So
guess. I don't know.
for 80s rockers.
For 80s rockers. Yeah.
And we did a couple high school dances. We played my high school.
Oh,
which
yeah,
was
man,
fun.
you must
Yeah.
have been like,
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
wild.
yeah.
I mean, it's not really dance music, but
Right.
It was like a concert. It was
Yeah.
in the gym.
Did you have pyro at any point?
No.
Oh, bummer.
So that was kind of that thing.
Far out.
And then, so at the same time, I auditioned for UConn. I went to UConn for music
Okay.
as a singer.
Oh, wow.
As you know,
Yep.
I studied classical voice.
Sure.
Because that's what I was encouraged. Like, you can get in on voice.
Yeah,
Because I didn't play like upright. We didn't have an orchestra.
Yep.
I didn't really know anything about jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I read the notes in jazz band, you know.
Sure.
And so I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do anything with that.
Yeah, yeah.
At a music school.
Yeah.
So I went in for voice, which I loved.
Yeah.
And that was great. I got a lot of great like ensemble experience.
Yeah.
Doing a cappella music
Yeah.
and blending.
Yeah.
And, you know, like precision of your vowels and your consonants and all that stuff.
Yep.
That ear training that definitely I use it in my bass playing still. You know, what I mean?
Wow.
It's like,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, invaluable experiences. Plus, I
Yeah.
got the teaching degree, which is,
Yep.
you know, there's my job.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yep.
And I was never brave enough to like, I'm going to LA
Yeah,
after
right.
high school or
Sure.
anything like that.
Well,
you
me
know?
neither.
Yeah.
I hear you. Well, that's wild.
So I was going to UConn, and then my musical tastes were changing as far as bass too. So I left that rock band. and
Sure.
I was starting to listen to more. I got into like a little bit of like Stanley Clarke and
Sure.
John Patitucci.
Yep.
Because I was at Strawberries
Sure.
Records and Tapes.
Yep.
And they had this music playing, and it was jazz. I didn't know
Sure.
anything about jazz, but
Right.
but it was like crystal clear and super chopsy and
Yeah.
modern. I'm like, whoa! So it's a Chick Corea acoustic band.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa!
I like that record.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I started buying those tapes up and eating that up, and then
Yep.
the electric band and everything. And you know, I soon realized I can't. There's no way I can
Sure.
play like that.
Right.
But I tried.
Yeah.
You have
we
to
all,
try,
We all
you know.
did. Yeah. I still try.
Stanley Clarke. So my gym teacher in high school, Bob Dorico,
Okay.
who was still a gym teacher when I started working there 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I was like, that's awesome.
Hey.
I'm like, you're the guy that got me hooked on this kind of.
Oh, really?
He's like, you got to come hear this. He gave me a Return to Forever record that
Yeah,
he put
yeah.
on a tape.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was just blown away. As
It's
a
like, oh, you
senior.
like music, huh?
Yeah.
Check this out.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
cool.
I owe a lot to him for that.
Wow, that's wild.
And then, you know, so I'm at UConn and I'm singing, and then I guess I started playing with the Watchmen,
Okay.
which was at the time it was. Well, Brian Caudle ended up being in the band a little bit later, but he wasn't.
Oh, okay,
So
here
my
we go
my
again.
buddy Matt from my childhood was the original drummer,
Okay.
and Brian Kelly, who was a trumpet player, keyboard player that I knew from UConn, was in the band,
Mm-hmm.
and the singer was Thorne Palmer. If you don't know Thorne, he was also at UConn, but I don't think we crossed paths. So my friend Matt got me into that, and that kind of evolved into Brian Caudle ended up being the drummer at one point, and we got a different guitar player and another keyboard
I
player.
see.
And Scott Olson started
Right.
subbing on trumpet,
Right. Right.
and that brought me into the whole Scott Olson realm of gigs. He's like,
Yep.
"Hey, I'm putting together a Chicago tribute
I
band."
should get Scott up here.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I should.
You should.
Now I'm thinking.
So he was putting together a Chicago tribute band, and he's like,
Oh, wow.
"You want to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Sure.
So I think I was like teaching
Yep.
already.
Yep.
My first gig was elementary music. I taught that for 6
Oh,
years.
wow. So you got
I taught for 6.
you got a degree
Yeah.
in there.
Mm-hmm. 5 years,
That's cool. Yeah, right.
because at that point, without a master's, the music degree was 5 years because you had to do this music school and the School of Ed.
Right.
Nowadays, you get 4 years bachelor's, and the 5th year is your master's.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of got, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Grandfathered in. kinda.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, he called. Oh, the band was called Beginnings,
Okay.
Chicago Tribute Band, and in that, it was a bunch of dudes, horn section, the whole thing,
Yeah.
as you can imagine. And that's where I met Ramon.
Oh.
And,
okay. Okay. Yeah, this is all
Yeah,
making
so
sense
that
now.
and then that kind of bled into.
Yeah.
He had the Dynamite Disco Review going, and he got me and Ramon
Yep.
into that eventually. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
Ramon auditioned for the Chicago band as a singer
Oh, wow.
as a vocalist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
because we had Jeff Zweig was playing guitar,
Yeah.
and
We're talking about Ramon.
Caraballo.
Yeah, guitar player.
Yeah.
Not with us anymore.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Really talented
Yeah,
guy.
he was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he could
I
do
learned so much from him.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Because I'm in my mid-20s and now I'm getting into. So the Chicago band, we did a couple gigs, but it didn't pan out.
Sure.
Because who wants to pay 10 guys in Eastern?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, Raspberries. You ain't getting that gig.
Well, I mean, he's Wethersfield, but like, it was hard to get gigs.
Yeah, sure.
So the disco thing was like, that's when I started like, oh, this is a working gig.
Right.
You know, almost every weekend or whatever. I don't really remember, but played a lot of Chowder Pot, Branford.
Yep.
And then we did a lot of colleges and
all that stuff.
I mean, you've done that's
how I met you.
On
one of those gigs.
Yeah. So the Scott Olsen roots go way back.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, because we were just in different circles.
Yeah.
And it took that.
Yeah, exactly.
For me and you to get on it, and I just was like, "Who's this dude?"
So in the '90s,
awesome.
that was like the '90s for me. The mid to the end of the '90s was those things. And the disco band, I think Ramon and I, we both left the same time. It might have been '99.
Okay.
And I met you like a couple years after that.
It was some crazy. Where were we? It was
Maine or
something upstate.
And there was this big hockey game, so nobody was at our college dance they were supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we stayed over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Partied.
Who was on guitar? Was Pat Russo on that gig?
I think Pat Russo was on that gig.
Brian Kelly.
I think so.
And Donahue.
Yep, and Donahue. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh man.
So that was our first. That was our first time playing.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I was like, "What's up with this guy? He's playing at like a rock gig."
Oh, really?
Parts of it, you know, you.
Sure.
And then I learned later, well, you're doing the disco hell thing, which is kind of that anyway. So you're just kind of
right.
I think you were playing some of the shtick.
Oh yeah, maybe I was. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Because who cares? There were like 5 people there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I think so.
I for some reason I don't know why I just felt like, all right, so this is like a disco cover band that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I just not approach like still play it funky, like swing it funky, but play it really aggressively. Kind of worked instead of trying to be a funky disco drummer.
Right.
I would just play it like I would always think it's like the way the Time would play it, like Prince's band, like that guy, like wide open and super. So that was a funky rock approach,
right,
to disco, I guess.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So what happened after that for me? I guess. Oh, I started playing with Gary and the Mood Swingers.
But I filed you away anyway. We'll get to that. I just was like, this guy.
Obviously, I mean, it was a handful of years before we reconnected.
Yeah. I don't remember how.
I did a couple things. I was in a little trio that played a lot in Newport, Rhode Island.
Okay.
Called Fat Free Bob.
Okay.
And that was John Morello.
Oh.
Got me in there.
Drummer.
Because John was the drummer in Gary and the Mood Swingers.
Oh,
so he's like,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the list too.
I think,
I don't know him that well, but he's a great drummer.
I just played with him not too long ago.
Oh, really?
He's
good.
a beautiful player.
I love it. Yeah, I've just seen clips of him. Great touch. Really nice.
He's
really
fun.
Cool.
We have fun. We make each other laugh a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny. We go, yeah.
He's not funnier than me. You don't laugh
No.
more with him,
No.
do you?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
All right. As you can see, this is hilarious.
John and I would play. So that's back when the Atrium Lounge at Foxwoods would have you 10 nights in a row.
Sure. Yeah, I remember those.
So
I quit in the middle of a Joe Greco run.
Because of plexiglass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Right.
Another story. Poor Joe.
Well, that's how I met Joe doing the gigs with Mood Swingers. He would sub on keys.
Gotcha.
And but John, you know, sometimes you zone out on those gigs where it's repetitive. You're in the same room, you're playing the same songs.
Sure.
You know, not set by set the same, but like
it gets to you.
Yeah, so you start having fun with each other, and I would grab his cymbal and move it 3 feet away.
Sure.
So he couldn't reach it anymore.
Yeah,
or I'd loosen his hi-hat clutch, which I love that. That's a good move. Or I'd just grab the stick out of his hand.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's
fun.
cute.
Yeah, so we had fun. Although someone in the audience mentioned that to Gary, like, your drummer, your bass player, are fooling around.
Yeah, they're having fun. What are they doing? Why are they having fun?
Yeah.
This is a blues gig. It's supposed to be a bummer. It's supposed to make people sad, I guess.
But that was a great experience. I think I did that band for 2-3 years maybe.
Wow.
And that's when I started doing like weddings and getting a feel for that whole thing.
Yep.
which was always a learning experience. And
Sure.
and even just playing a lot of swing and blues that was out of my like, comfort zone, I guess.
And this is with Gary.
Yeah. So he was like the stand on the table harmonica guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I knew. Yeah, I played with Gary when I was in high school.
Yeah. So when I got in the band, it was later. You know, he was a little more tame.
Sure.
I think.
Sure. Could be.
But the gigs were great. They were like weddings and
Yeah.
casino stuff. And
Why not?
the Wharf, we'd play the Wharf a lot. That fire escape.
Yeah.
road in.
Yeah.
And then Joe Grieco came in and started doing a couple gigs on piano.
Right.
Bill Holloman would come in and
Next thing you know.
play sax. So I started to meet those guys.
Yep.
And Joe's like, hey,
Yeah.
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 You want to, my band is playing here. You want to, normally I play the keyboard bass, but
Sure.
why don't you come in?
Yeah, why don't you
we
be
got
a
a
bass
book. We have a
player?
book.
Yep.
And you probably know most of the songs. And
Yep.
yeah, they had a book, and I knew a lot of songs, but not. I mean, they have. Joe. Joe's like a
He knows
library.
every song ever.
So once
the
I
Cartels.
started doing that, so it was the Joe Grieco band at the casino,
Oh right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
and then
I never played one of those with you, did I? That's weird because I did
think
those.
so.
I
don't
did a lot of
remember.
those.
I don't remember.
I can't remember who the bass players were now. Now you got me thinking. Anyway.
So it was like, that was like 2004
Yep.
ish.
Yep.
But I had met you before I was in the Cartels. We were.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
Yeah, it was like that. We did that. We started doing like Ray gigs, maybe.
Yep.
Hartford.
Probably. Jim Oblong gigs. Remember
Yeah.
some of those?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so when I started playing with you guys, with you and Ray and
Yep.
Chip and
Yep.
or Jensen or
Sure.
Zion or whoever, Ray and whoever answers the phone
Right.
at Sully's.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what the band was called, Ray and whoever answers the
Yep.
phone.
Yep.
I was like, I made it. I finally cracked
Oh, you're in the circle.
into the scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
It was a scene.
yeah, that was great. It was good
Yeah.
times.
Pretty groovy. And then, so I dragged you into Feather Merchants thing.
Yeah, so we were doing. I remember the gig. It was upstairs, like the Brickyard, whatever that became, or something. And
Yeah.
we did a gig. It was whatever. But
Yeah.
you were like, "Hey, I got this thing."
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's it's original music. The
Yeah.
guys in New York and
Yeah.
Jim Chapdelaine.
Yep. Yeah. That started as like an album project. It was Pete Veru was like the songwriter,
Mm-hmm.
and Jim Chapdelaine was a producer and kind of made everything better, arrangement wise or however you want to look at it. And Drew Glacken, the late Drew, was the original bass player.
Yeah.
We got a couple of albums in. We made an album and got a little bit of college radio kind of action. And then we're like, oh, we have to be I think Drew just kind of got into something else. We were scrambling for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember, but I had the brainstorm. I was like, Jay Wiggin is going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. He's going to make this better. And you did. Because you sang, too. It was like, oh, here we go. Yeah.
I recall not really knowing you very well at that point, which was weird to think about that,
Yeah,
20
I guess
years
so.
ago or whatever.
But I just somehow knew. I was like, this is going to work because it's, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not a funk band. It's not a blues band. It's like, I guess what they used to call college rock. Would you say?
Yeah.
Alternative.
Indie, maybe,
Yeah.
whatever.
And I was like, yeah, Jay's the guy because
Because I went to college.
because you went to college. Yeah, exactly. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that was a lot of fun.
No,
Sure.
it was. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I also, I'm going to leave people out that
Yeah, I
deserve
know.
to be mentioned. Oh, Leave You Pop. He was on your show.
Yep.
I think I was playing with him in the 90s a little bit too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had some stuff going. And
Yep.
we had a little trio that he brought me into with this. I forget what the band was called, but it was this guy Myron on guitar, and he had a whole book of songs. And I went to see them play at the Bidwell Tavern. You ever
Yeah,
play
sure.
there?
Yep.
Bob Laramie was on bass.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it's just a trio. Bob had a lot of solos, and
Sure.
so I was like, oh, cool. So then I started doing the gig, and I'm trying to play like Bob, and I'm like, I can't play like Bob.
No one can play like Bob.
Can't play like Bob.
Yeah, I know.
The Zywax, remember that?
Yep.
Hartford Brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry D.
Yep.
And
Rick Marshall sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was Frank Varela.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know Larry D? Yeah. No, Dardane.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Keyboard player,
He's
right?
in Spain. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Far out.
So that was cool.
Yeah. And then we had the last cover band. We made a band, us, me and you, and Bill McGoffin and Chip. We made a band from scratch.
Yep.
For once. That was kind of cool.
I will never forget the day. So I'm teaching at this relatively new, when I was new at Woodstock Academy. I'm teaching guitar and I had this kid in there. And he comes up to me one day. He's like, Mr. Wiggin. I was like, what's up? He's like, I know the name of your band.
Oh, no.
I'm like, and I'm playing in a couple.
Sure.
So I'm like, which one? Sex Pizza.
Yeah. Yeah. The name of our band was Sex
I was
Pizza.
like,
I
know. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, well. Just don't tell your parents.
We're still getting hits on Facebook.
Are we really?
Sure.
Yeah. That was fun.
I get notifications like 2 more likes or whatever.
Oh, really?
Like, really?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, also around
That
that
was a lot of
time,
fun.
before that, so like around the Feather Merchants time, I was doing the Pimp the Cat thing.
Okay.
So that was Matt Ziner, Chris Jensen.
Oh, that's right.
Billy was in it for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And
Mark Greenberg?
Greenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Greenberg.
Wow.
And we would go down to New York City on Wednesdays maybe.
Yeah.
Play these little divey place.
Yeah.
And Mark had a connection to send a band off to Japan.
Oh, wow. That's
I'm like,
right.
and I wasn't teaching. I'm like, let's
Yeah,
go.
sure.
So we went for 10 days. Matt didn't go. Jensen didn't go. So it ended up being me, Mark, and 2 new guys. Well,
boy.
Steve Elliott was a guitar player, who you know.
I do?
From Philadelphia. He subbed for
Oh, that's
Jim,
right.
that guy. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we went to Japan with these, we rehearsed a little bit and then went and played a tour
Sure.
of 5 cities
Was it cool?
for a record that only 2 of the guys were on.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. It was like
You had a good time?
play these like 150 capacity lower level clubs, and they know your songs, and
Wow.
they weren't really my songs, but like,
Sure.
yeah, it was a trip. That was awesome.
That's wild.
It was great.
Yeah. That's funny.
And then I think we came back and we made another album to maybe try to go back again, but it never happened. So.
Oh.
But I have like a live DVD
Hey.
of those gigs, and
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Good thing there's not a live DVD of Disco Hell, which is another chapter.
Yeah.
We don't have time to get into that. That was funny.
Well, that was also early in our relationship because I remember, I think because you knew the disco thing. You're like, hey, we do a tracks gig, but
Sure.
you guys know the song, so let's just.
Right.
I don't remember how you pitched it, but you were like,
And
disco hell. It's like disco.
goes.
It's the songs you know, but you can do whatever.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
And I don't.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I could real quick. So, yeah.
Freddie.
Yeah, so it was a corporate. So this gig started. It was a franchised gig. It was somebody. It was like from Vegas had this show, and it had tracks, you know,
Right.
and so somebody around here like franchised it. Like they bought the material and the dance steps or whatever it was, and then anyway So it was a gig, but we went rogue. The organization fell apart, but we kept the gig in one place in Worcester. And it just either deteriorated or ascended, depending on how you think of it. But we were still using the routine, but we were just taking it as far out as far as just decadence and insanity.
Yeah.
In that one place, the Lucky Dog in Worcester. And it got so, it was disco music, but it was just like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. But anyway.
Well, that was a total rock club with a
It was a
rock
total
PA,
rock club,
rock
yeah.
stage,
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
dirty in the most beautiful rock
like,
and roll
like
club way.
The
Yeah.
CBGBs
Yeah.
of Worcester.
And the college kids would flood the place at midnight on a Sunday.
Yep. Yeah.
We start at midnight on a Sunday.
So he was phase 2. So the first original band the original lineup kind of fell apart, and I was the last man, and I kind of assembled Mach 2. And I was trying to describe to them, I'm just like, you don't have to behave at all. Like I need you to be outrageous. And I'll never forget, I had to start the intro that was 15 minutes and then run downstairs and get dressed. And I come downstairs and you were wearing like a Matador outfit with a wig and false teeth or something. You're like,
I don't even remember
how's
that.
this? I'm like, perfect. You're in, perfect.
That Matador outfit
Or whatever.
actually was my dad's
Right.
Thunder Mug band
I
uniform.
remember you told me that.
And I have a photo of all of them in it when they were new. Like,
See?
yeah, I'm like,
Beautiful.
so I played my dad's trombone. I wore his band
That's
suit.
right.
Like,
That's right. So
Yeah.
we did that too at the same
That was
time
fun.
as Feather Merchants. So we rode Feather Merchants out right to the end.
yeah.
It's kind of almost a thing, starting to kind of happen. We got caught right as the music business kind of started to fall apart.
Yeah.
We were right in there, but that was fun. It's a good thing that you were there. We're gonna run out of time, which sucks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
Time for what?
an hour.
Pizza.
Yeah, right.
White Album.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,
Mug.
talk slower. Yeah, exactly.
So the first Disco Hell gig at the Lucky Dog
Yeah.
was the moment I realized how well how well we fit together as a drummer and bass player.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if it was the sound of your kick in that room. I remember telling you, I'm like, your kick drum is amazing. And I couldn't put it into words, but
Oh, wow.
it just, everything felt right with the way we locked in.
Yeah.
And
Well, I thought so.
you were just like, wow,
I don't
fast.
know.
You know, I was giving you a compliment and you were just like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah. But I just remember like, wow.
yeah.
I was playing through that huge like
Yeah,
stack. That
Well, that was a fun
Eric
gig
Gordon,
because you
yeah.
could play it like a rock
Yeah,
gig.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be loud and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna tell you to turn down.
Nope. Not at all. Oh yeah. He had this weird. What was that all about?
I don't know. Is it
Explain it to Dave.
I had an active electronics in the bass, and if you pull the jack halfway out, it would go boom,
It would make this noise like you've never heard in your
like
life.
a siren going up.
It was crazy.
And you plug it in and out, and
Yeah, and he would work it in. He would work it into the routine.
run it through some distortion. It was crazy.
So funny.
Until it broke. It eventually broke itself.
Yeah. And that
I'm
was
like,
the end of that.
I try every now and then. I'll plug in an active bass somewhere, and I'll just test it. Like, will this one do it?
Yeah, it's
Nope.
crazy. So it must be that it must be halfway. It must be firing up,
I have no idea.
something. Yeah, who knows? Somebody else. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
You have that recorded
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you're just teaching now,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Cartels so the Cartels, that's my thing for
Yep.
17 years this year. Can you imagine?
No, that's
Joe-
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I'm
'Cause
the
I
age,
do remember before you.
I'm
were
the
in
age now that Joe was when I joined the band. And not that he's
Whoa.
an old man,
No,
but
no,
like,
but still.
I was definitely the young kid.
Yeah.
And then they call me kid still. And I'm like, well, I'm 50.
Yeah. Sure.
You're
Yeah,
still the
that'll
kid.
never change.
You're still the kid.
Yeah. Well, they're still older.
Those guys are awesome. Family.
Oh yeah.
Family and
They're the best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Joe and Tommy and Bill
Yep.
and Karen
Yep.
and John Corvo is our guy
Yep.
now, and
Yep.
so
One of my favorite drummers.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
I mean, so I played with Pete Leapak for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Before him was Wayne June.
Yep.
Both awesome.
Sure.
Different.
Yep.
All three guys, Pete, Wayne,
Yep.
John Corvo. All
Sometimes it
different,
was me
but-
for a while there.
a bunch with you and
Yep.
Other assorted guests.
Yep.
But
All that stuff.
yeah. Oh, Primetime Players too. I played with Jimmy Arnold. That was a great gig.
Oh yeah.
Springfield
Yeah,
guys.
great
Yeah,
drummer.
That's the Luther connection.
Right. Yeah.
Luther was in that
Yeah.
and Disco Hell.
Right. Yeah, I love Jimmy Arnold. Great player.
Yeah.
He's another one of my favorite players
Yeah.
around here. It's wild. All right. You know what's coming.
No.
Consistent practicer of your instrument.
Consistent. Well, I think I practice,
Yep.
but I also a lot of my time on the instrument at home is learning songs for gigs
Yep.
or maybe messing around with recording stuff. So
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm not playing scales all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, I maintain my craft, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yep.
And drums, I've been practicing a lot.
Oh, really?
So I guess
Cool.
I practice drums.
Well, anytime
want-
you
I want to. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me show you how a paradiddle goes, John.
Yeah, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
I have a house now where I can set them up and leave them
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and
that helps.
close the door, and it's a little quieter for the rest of the house. And
Yep. Yep.
It's
I do the
yeah.
same thing.
I mean, you came to my other house. You
Yeah, I never saw the new house.
You practiced in the basement on my old drum set once.
Right.
And
Yep. I remember.
neglected like Ludwig,
So what?
the '85 Ludwig, or something.
Yeah.
And Mike Blankafleur helped me fix it up a couple years ago. When
Oh
I
man,
got
we
the
should
new
get him
house.
too.
Yeah, I
See,
did.
now it's all
Mike
starting to
Blankafleur.
happen. Yeah.
Drummer,
okay. All
percussionist.
right. I got to start writing
mallet
this down.
percussion. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's awesome.
And he's a bass player.
Is that right? I
And-
didn't even know that.
And a guitar player. He's,
All right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. He's on the list.
I know.
Man. Okay. All right. Now you got me thinking.
Yeah.
Food.
Not pizza,
No.
even though I was joking about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But that's a hard one, but I think raw vegetables.
Oh, really? Hey,
yeah,
good
like
for you.
like a salad.
Good for you.
Or,
That's
you
good.
know, cucumbers right out of the garden.
Oh, I
Bananas.
wish I was like that.
Raw fruits and vegetables, I think. I just
Good
think
for
I don't
you.
get sick of them.
That's the way it should be.
Today
I wish
I
I was
opened
like
the
that.
fridge and I'm like, there's leftover pizza. And I'm like, nah. So
Yeah.
I guess that answered my
Good.
question for tonight.
Yeah, that's cool.
Can't
I'm
do
kind of
pizza
over
every day.
pizza. I mean, I
Yeah.
like it, but I don't. It doesn't spring to mind.
Yeah, I feel like I could always eat a salad.
Good for you. That's cool.
Sure.
You're gonna live forever.
But I don't always eat salad, so I'm
Right.
kind of,
You're gonna live half ever.
yeah.
Desert Island album.
I don't like this question.
Yeah, I know. Nobody does.
Um,
It's not like
yeah,
it's to give us an idea
Yeah.
of who you are. It doesn't mean like
I've been thinking a
on-
lot
yeah,
about that one because I know it was coming,
yeah.
and I feel like my favorites were favorites for a span of years, but then not
Sure.
anymore.
Sure. Well, give us
So
some.
like stuff that I could go back to
Yeah.
that was a really big favorite at one point. Sure, any Beatles.
Sure.
White Album probably
Sure.
because of the variety on
Yep.
it, as everyone else says.
Yep.
I love Midnight Vultures.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. That's right.
It's goofy. It's
Yeah.
it's like a groovy dance album,
Yeah.
but there's so many little sounds in between that you
Yeah.
can hear,
Yeah.
and you're like, wait, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
little
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
that little thing or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
So you can listen to that a bunch.
Yep. Yep. That's
Uh,
cool.
I had a little affair with Continuum, John Mayer. It's a great album.
I don't know that one. Okay. All right.
The songs are great, and Pinot.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, I don't know that.
Steve Jordan. It's just
Sure.
but not
How
every
wrong can
day.
you go?
You know, it's not it's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't listen to that every day.
But that's something
Yeah, it
that's
was a-
like stands out
It's just I just think it's a great album.
far out.
I don't know if I was in a Wilco phase.
Yep.
Probably when you met me, I
Yep,
was like
yep.
doing the
That's right.
Yankee
Sure.
Hotel Foxtrot.
Sure.
It's another fun.
Yeah, how wrong can you go?
Yeah. But I think if I was on an island, I might go with instrumental music,
Oh, nice.
you know.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily like a classical orchestral listener, but I think I could tolerate something like that on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
long
yeah.
on the long term
Rather
more
than, yeah.
because I can kind of interpret it my own way without being fed lyrics.
Yep. Yep. That makes
Perhaps.
sense. Makes sense. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add in the last 2 minutes?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Why 2 minutes? We didn't start at 7.
Well, I know, but
Where's my
no,
agent?
that doesn't matter. This matters.
Where's
This.
my agent?
Yeah, this. I'm looking at our timing.
Oh, I thought you were
You know.
about to hit a button.
No, I wouldn't care. except-
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course.
And-
We've been trying to forever because your name
Well,
comes
I
up all the
appreciate that.
time.
I appreciate
No,
it.
I do.
There's a lot of good people out there.
Well, yeah, but you're everybody talks about you.
And thanks for giving me all the opportunities by roping me into stuff, you know, inviting me on gigs.
No problem, of course. No, I mean, in my mind, I was like, I'm taking this guy with me,
Yeah.
and pretty much
Well.
here you are. Now I did it again, just to be here now. So
Mm.
You're part of the Holy Trinity.
yeah, you're part of the Holy Trinity. Yeah, you know that story. You heard
Love that. Yeah.
Oh man, I was never so nervous that day. I'm like
Eddie.
you and Lavosi and Ed Corvo all in the same room. I
Yeah.
was like, don't do this. Don't
Yeah.
all be here. What if a
You know,
sinkhole opens up?
it's almost not fair that I'm a bass player, they're a bass player, so we're never on the same gig. Although I did
yeah.
a gig with Eddie.
Did you really?
At Sex Pizza, remember he played guitar?
Oh, that's right.
Or no, it was a
Yeah,
it was
Tom
mediums.
Izzo thing.
Yeah.
That is true.
I was like, wait, this is
That's
wow,
funny.
we're playing a gig together.
Yeah.
But,
That's wild. That's wild.
You know, so the times I hang out with them are if we're at the same gig,
Yeah.
or if I'm at their gig or they're at mine. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, Eddie, he's great.
Yeah.
I saw the Michael Cleary band way back, Arch Street Tavern in the '90s.
Sure.
And Eddie was doing the wiggle,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
real quick vibrato thing.
Yep, I know. It's-
Sliding, not
Yep.
the bending, but and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah,
So I went home
that's
and
Eddie's thing.
yeah, I stole that from Eddie. I was like
Hey.
22, and I'm like, I got to do that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's doing it on a Steinberger this way.
Yep. Yep. It's one of Eddie's thing.
Yeah.
Far out. All right. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you finally showed up.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been fun.
Jay Wiggin.
Went by quick.
Yeah, I know it did. It did.
I wore this for you too. I wanted to look like you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, see? All right. Jay Wiggin, bass player, teacher, father, husband. You're a good father. I admire.
Thank you.
I don't know how you do it.
I have to be. I mean,
Well,
you know,
nah, you're-
I mean, really.
I don't know.
Come on.
If I did it, I think I would do it the way you do it. But
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
You
so.
certainly would.
You know what we're going to do now? Press the exit button. John Peckman Podcast. Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one satellite, start looking left. Yeah, I will. Dave's reminded me to say that is all at the end. That's why I say Jay Wiggin was here. Jay gets a mug, but you know.
Yeah.
All right, that is all, kids.
And a P bass.
Yeah, and a P bass in 1978. Thanks for listening, kids. We'll see you later. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.